you do have to understand if you're Charles Barkley. When you call somebody whiny, when in the past you basically called them a punk, when you question their competitive fervor and what have you, all bets are off in that regard as well, because those people are going to interpret it as you taking personal shots at them, which is why LeBron James brought up the word legacy. And then when you think about what he closed with, Max Kellerman, when he says he's the owner, I'm the player, screw Charles Barkley, he was talking about, you know, quotes about Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, and others in terms of what Barkley was alluding to. Cleveland has given him everything that he's wanted, et cetera, and how LeBron wanted this or LeBron wanted that, when in fact, Rich Paul, who represents a J.R. Smith, who represents a Tristan Thompson, who's had to fight for those contracts to get those dudes their money, they're looking at it from the standpoint that if LeBron got everything he wanted, he would not have had to complain the way that he's complained periodically over the last 2.5 years that he's basically been back in Cleveland. He's had to complain because he hasn't gotten the things that he wanted. So to imply that he just gets everything that he wants, that he's the one running the show, you know, they took offense to it. So, again, it's one of those situations. I think that LeBron James got a bit too personal. I think it was a bit excessive. I think he was wrong for doing that. But at the same time, if a cat's going to come at you and question your character in that fashion, you do have a right to stand up and defend yourself by any means necessary. I don't really think that there's a wrong party here, but I do think that it's gone a bit too far, particularly with some of the personal stuff that LeBron James brought up, because there were certainly things on the basketball court that LeBron James could easily attack about Barkley, because Barkley doesn't have the basketball resume that LeBron has. LeBron did not have to go to that point. Now all bets are off, because we don't know what the hell Barkley is going to say, and Barkley obviously could say a lot, particularly if he gets personal. LeBron may not know what Barkley knows about him. Very dangerous game.
What do you think of LeBron's comments?
Well, obviously he's reacting in a way that you catch him after loss, and he's going to be a little bit frustrated in the first place. But I think what he's basically trying to do is he's trying to defend himself from comments that were made the other night. And I actually didn't take him saying that his team needed more help the same way that necessarily the guys on Turner did. I think that he shouldn't have done it in a public manner, and that's really where Charles Barkley went in on him. But you know, making comments he doesn't want to compete, I think that really strikes to the core of any athlete, particularly a guy like LeBron James, who considers himself the ultimate winner and a guy that, you know, has laid it out on the line for his entire career. You know, to go down the personal road and the issues that Charles has had, and that's really where LeBron went, and attacking him in that way, LeBron was really speaking directly to his professionalism. But, Jay, you know this, there is nothing you can say to an athlete that's going to hurt more or get more of a reaction than when you use terms like doesn't want to compete, if you use a word like quit, which they did in this case, but those are the two big ones that any athlete is going to react to. You're going to get your hair on your neck up when you hear things like that, and that's what LeBron James was doing. I personally didn't have a problem with his mentality in this whole process, which is we need to not stand pat if we want to do this again. I am basically toward the end of my prime, need to take advantage of every single year that I have left to make sure that we're doing everything we can to win championships in the time that I have left here as a player and in Cleveland. And with what Golden State did, you know, that's in the back of his mind constantly. So that's really where his mindset was. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think he should go public with that. Unfortunately, that seems like the way things are done now in the NBA, even situations in Chicago and New York this year. Too much is disseminated for public consumption that should be handled internally. And I think that's where the Turner guys had a problem with what LeBron was doing, more so even than saying, hey, you know, we have to make sure we're continuing to look to improve our team. That to me was the big issue.